Alright, so I'm back with yet another engine combo. This is not one of my normal yard pulls. I bought this thing exactly how it sits. So I figure now I'll just go over what exactly this is, why I bought it, tear into it, get it on the run stand, and then go from there. So right off the bat, this is a 2006 L59 5.3 iron block. It's not a 6.0. You know, the 6.0s, they sell a lot faster, but they're also a lot more expensive. 5.3s are pretty cheap and I can kind of turn them around pretty fast. But the significance as to why I bought this is the LM7, which that's an LM7 chilling up there. The LM7 and the L59 are completely functionally identical, except for the L59 is the E85 capable motor. So whenever I sell entire fuel injection combos, I'm always talking about how I build the perfect intake manifold. I don't use this throttle body and I don't use the later P59 PCM, but this has 36-pound EV6 injectors, a stainless steel fuel rail with no return on the rail. So I want to rob all this stuff, keep the water pump, keep the power steering pump, keep it as a spare, and then if this is a perfectly good running 5.3, then I can have that as a spare, and then also included 4L60E if somebody wants it. So first thing I want to do is start stripping it down. I want to get the trans off, put that to the side, wash it, and then have it for sale listed. Exhaust manifold off, intake manifold off. We'll look at it a little bit before I get on the run stand, but I need to de-rack the other motor anyway. All right, so we got this manifold off. Now I can get the starter. We got starter coming off, but this thing's going back on, so I can spin this motor over and start it and stuff, but this way I can get to the torque converter bolts. All right, here we got the last torque converter bolt, so perfect. Now the converter is fully off from the flex plate. Now it's just trans bolts. Get this thing out of here, make this thing a lot lighter. So all the bell housing bolts are out, except for this one just finger tight. I've got it separated. Let's see if I can get it to just gently fall onto the dolly. There it goes. Perfect. We got the trans separated, and something actually pretty cool. This thing has a date on it. So that means, I'm assuming this thing was either rebuilt, serviced, something. Converter was done exactly 10 years ago. There's another date there. With an 06, the way you can tell is that first number is a 6, which means it's 2006. There's a couple other numbers on here that when I'm tearing into this, you can see the exact year. But yeah, so if you're looking for a 60E, I've got one, potentially rebuilt 10 years ago, let me know. So next I'm gonna pull the intake manifold off. I already got all the bolts out. See how dirty this is underneath. Ugh. Lots of plastic. So it's pretty dirty under here, but when I pulled the manifold off, the intake manifold gaskets kind of exploded. And that's because someone's been in here and they siliconed them on. So I need to figure out how to get these in. These things are like completely frozen. So I need to figure out how to get the rest of these things off, get these cleaned up, and not get stuff, falling down the ports. But yeah, for future reference, if you have an intake manifold gasket leak, just replace these. It's very easy. And don't silicone them. There's a sealing surface, the rubber sealing surface seals the port, and that's all that holds it in. So that's marginally cleaned up. I might do a little bit more when it's time to put on the carb manifold. But I figure I'd go over one more time. Quick recap on why I like these intake manifolds. So this is the same 99 to 06 truck manifold for the entire Gen 3 run. But I use these because, like I said, it's got a stainless steel rail with a return, and no return, just a feed, and then EV6 injector plugs with a taller injector. What I do is, so I take those off, throw them away, and then I throw on this. So this is the earlier throttle body, the cable version. They bolt right on, and then you just need to get the appropriate sensors. But starting in 03 is when you could actually get stainless with the taller injector. But 03 has a return, 04 has no return. So most of them actually look like this. So this is the older plastic rail. These are a lot lower because the injector is shorter. And then from 99 all the way to 03, they had a feed and return. Now it's time to de-rack this engine to make room for this guy. So like I said, this engine is functionally the exact same as this L59. This is an LM7. It's a little earlier one. But this has a BTR stage 2, 212, 218, and I think 111. Low obstruction angle. The last video I made with this stand is this thing running. This thing is still for sale, so this one will be priced just marginally higher than this one since they're basically the exact same. But yeah, now time to just tear everything off, and I want to see how fast I can de-rack this and rack this up. So I've got the ignition system sitting over there, the coil packs are off. I'm going to try to keep as much as I can with this motor. I'm going to keep the water pump on this motor, keep the oil in it, keep this header on. I've got this unbolted, and I think I can just lift this and have this sit back here. And then just gotta get the wiring off and then unbolt it, take it out of the way, and then I can bring the new one in. I got the bell housing on, I have the motor mounts on, starter's on that side. It's the same starter that came off of it. So let me just go ahead and rack this thing up and then I'll start putting more stuff on it. All right, so we're all mounted up. Got the starter bolted on over there and plugged in. One thing I'm gonna be doing, so I'm leaving these accessories, leaving that water pump, but I swapped out, so that's a stock thermostat. And then with this one that I made, this is normally what's on the water pump that's sitting over there. This thing's just totally hollowed out, so it just pumps water all the time. Just bolt that onto this water pump, so I don't have to take it off. Then it's, we'll pull the coil packs off, pull the top end apart, pull the plugs out, prime it to see what the oil looks like. It looks like whoever pulled this thing out, there was a small casualty. It destroyed one of the coil packs. I'm gonna use my regular ones I use in the run stand anyway. Get these off, and then I'll pull the valve cover off and the plugs out. Let's see what everything looks like. If the inside is as dirty as the outside, not that bad. And passenger side, yeah, looks pretty typical. So all the plugs are out, valve covers are off. Yeah, none of these really look anything special at all. This one was already broken. That was this one here that was already smashed. So I figure now I'll just hook up the rest of the electrical and start pumping it. And then as soon as I get oil pressure, as soon as I get anything coming out of here, I figure that's enough oil to be circulating around, and then it's hook everything up and start it. All right, we got power. Let's see if we get oil. One thing that I will do, if I don't get oil pressure up there from just cranking it without the plugs in, then I'll just take this out completely. This is a 1 1/16. Because if it's gonna build oil pressure, it's gonna shoot it out of here, so at least it'll be flowing out. Because the pump is up in the front, so at least it's oiling the bottom end and then coming up here to go that way and then up to the push rod. So it'll go here after it'll hit the bottom end. Yeah, there we go. So we got oil coming out. Cool. So it's definitely primed. And with that, it's definitely primed. Also, this is the same oil that was in the motor when I got it. Whenever I go to LKQ, they always drain them in the yards, and then I use whatever oil is sitting in another motor to put it in. But yeah, but this is really clean looking oil that was in it when I picked it up and never got drained. So I'll try one more time if I get oil up here. If not, I don't really care because it's definitely primed. I don't really feel like cranking this thing over forever. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna throw it all back together, throw the fuel system on, ignition system on, and then once it's running, I'll then go decide to recheck and confirm what oil pressure actually is. It's time for run stand designated coil packs, run stand designated exhaust, that side's already on, and then the rest of my run stand designated TR55 spark plugs. Now we got the intake and the carb. This is why this is so long, by the way. Everyone always asks why the stud is so long. It makes it a lot easier to pick this on and off, since I like to keep everything modular. We got the exhaust on, fuel's in the bowls. Fuel pump on, let's see if it runs. I went ahead and I hooked up the cooling system. It's full of water. Let's see what it does now. you might notice it sounds pretty good for such big mufflers, but that's because, so I use the same gaskets over and over and over again. They definitely have any exhaust leak, because they kind of fall apart after like the fourth or fifth time I install it. So I'm gonna have to find a thicker, like metal gasket that I can reuse over and over and over again. Yeah, that exhaust leak is louder than the mufflers. All right, let's see what that oil looks like. Yeah, this thing's like brand new, so maybe the oil was changed and then the motor was pulled. You know, who knows? I'm assuming this thing was out of a crashed vehicle, because when the vehicle is totaled, that's really the only time that it's worth pulling a 5.3, since if the motor's bad, the thing's not really worth anything. But maybe that's just what I'm telling myself. Fire it up one last time for good measure. And with that, I think it's time to now clean this thing up, you know, do its detail for retail. If you're interested in this motor, it's 100% for sale, and I guess I'll go over some of the other things I have for sale as well. So 2006 LM7. This is a 2002 LM7. This is the video from my last engine video, the 212 218 BTR Stage 2 cam. This is that 4L60 that came with this. I'll clean this up too. And then I'm probably also going to start stocking 4L80s, since I've got two 5.3s. I don't really need any more, so I'll probably be getting a lot more 6.0s and just take the 80Es with them. And the other thing I've decided to sell is this. This is the 2005 LH6 that my wife and I pulled out of the yard like last October, so a little over a year ago. I'm actually going to be picking up another new engine I'm pretty excited about. It'll definitely be a new keeper engine. I'll film it when I pick it up, and I don't think I need this thing anymore. So this is a 2005 floating wrist pin, flat top piston, weird Gen 3, Gen 4 hybrid motor. It looks like a Gen 4 because it has the AFM towers, but it's an 05. It has a front 1X cam sensor and a 24X crank sensor down below. But yeah, as long as people keep buying engines, I'll keep picking them up.